Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this past week's trades and the weekly recap. Before I get into the recap, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, I did finish the week last week with 21 wins and 3 losses, so I did pretty good. Except for Friday. Friday, I kind of like just misjudged the end of day action, but we'll get into that when we get into that. Not Friday. Friday was off. Thursday. But yeah, I did finish the week with 87.50% win rate, so I'm not going to complain about that. I exceeded my 80% weekly goal that I set myself every week. So if I can get over 80%, then I'm doing pretty good. So I'm doing better than most. So with that said, yeah, I got to remember this is a 4-day week because Friday we had off because of a Good Friday, and today is Easter. And happy Easter to anybody if anyone celebrates it. So Monday, let's see. I took, make it into the trade ideas room. If you're not familiar with the trade ideas room, it's a room where every morning and throughout the day I post ideas if I can. So most of the ideas throughout the day is kind of hard to post because I just either news or I just notice them last second, and it takes too much time to post in the trade ideas room. But if I see setups ahead of time, I try to post in the trade ideas room or in the sub only chat. I'll mention some things I'm looking at. So, but Monday morning, I said Facebook calls over 221 and Microsoft calls over 295. Now I did take Facebook calls over the 221. Let me pull up Facebook. Okay, where is Facebook? The 11th right here. Now I was expecting Facebook to bounce. Okay, I initially said what, 221, which is up here. But at this point in time, it was rate trading down here. So I wanted to give it a little more room. And this is the area I was looking at, this 220.60 area pre-market high. But I wanted to round up to a more round number of 221, so it's easy to remember. So that's why I picked that. But because it dropped right at open, I readjusted to the area right here where all these candles are, this consolidation before the drop. This is where I got back in, and I grabbed the 222.50 calls at 238, and they went from 238 to 279. So you're always going to be prepared that if I'm looking on the call side, I use pre-market highs or a level that I like at pre-market. And if it does drop right at open, the first 10-minute candle, I use the 10-minute candle or this. I usually use the 10-minute candle as a breaking point for if I'm pulling on the call side. So that's why I had this one. Then I readjusted to here after this drop right there. So I got it actually right here. Then I ended up grabbing SPY calls. This was the first loss for the week. I grabbed them at 10:17 on the 11th. Okay. Now SPY been dropping and dropping and dropping. So I was actually kind of watching. What time did I say this? I said SPY calls over 4:45 at 10:05, and I alerted at 10:17 at 4:45, which is right here, right where I probably shouldn't have taken that because the RC2 trend line is right there. This orange line, it usually likes to act as support and resistance. I mean, obviously I didn't take it right there. I took it at what, 10, which is right here. 10:17. I took it in this candle right here. And I took it here because it dropped, popped back up, and it started to consolidate a little bit, and it just looked like it was going to go. I remember at this point in time that it looked like it was going to pop, it was going to drop and just rip right here. But the thing, I shouldn't have taken it. RCT trend lines right there, the 20 EMA, 37. All these are kind of like bunched together a little bit, so it ends up having a hard time getting through it. But sometimes when SPY just wants to act stupid, it just will blow past through everything. And for some reason, I think at that point in time, I don't really remember because it's been almost a week. But if I had to guess, that it probably looked like it was going to pop right here, then it just did the complete opposite. So I did end up just having a loss on that. But I mean, I got the 444 calls of $1.45. I mean, they're not that expensive. One SPX play, I can make that up easily. So I don't ever sweat it on SPY calls or any SPY options at all, or any options at all, because that's why I don't sweat it when I take a loss, because I can make it up easily in SPX in one play. So I don't sweat it. So. Then I ended up taking SPX calls at 1134, which is right 1134 right here. As you see, it dropped. It came in. So this is one of the things that SPY likes to do. It will make a lower day, then it will have a fake bounce. Then it will take when people will pile in right here. And what will end up happening is that because people stop piling in, they'll dump it one more time right afterwards to take out the stops before they actually do something with it. And that's something that market makers like to do a lot with SPY. So you got to be careful of that. Those fake bounces end up being literally fake bounces, so they can just take out stops before they actually really rip it. So yeah, I took the 44.55 calls at 390 at 1134, which is this candle right here. Got that little pop. They went from 390 to 460. Not that much of a play, 70 cents. But if you stick with SPY, I mean, the SPX plays are playing 50 cents to a dollar, and not getting too greedy, that you'll have a nice play almost every single time. You can make the 50 cents. Literally on SPY moving a few pennies in the spread on SPX. It's really, really, really easy to do. But SPX is also very dangerous, because if it goes against you just a little bit, they will just get destroyed. So to play SPX, it's more about timing than it is anything else. So you just got to time it correctly. So then I ended up taking another batch of SPX calls at 104, which is right here. As you see, I got this little pop, and it's staying in this little range, and I played the range basically, I think, the most of the afternoon. Yeah, it looks like I did. So I grabbed it right here. I grabbed the 44.45 calls at $4, and they went from $4 to $5.15, and that little bounce right there. And you can see the 20 EMA, which is the light blue line. It rejected. It came back down, and I grabbed the calls again at 159, which is right here. And I can see why I grabbed it right here, because it looked like it was gonna pop, because it's rejected here, rejected here, rejected here, and this is the fourth time. So likely it was likely gonna pop right here, or higher probability. So I grabbed it at 159. So I kind of grabbed it right down here, and I had the 44.45 calls again, but this time at actually no, excuse me, I think I looked at one wrong. This one I had here, I paid $4.70, and it went to $6. Now this one is the one that went from $4 to $5.15. Yeah, I got it mixed up. So this was $4.70 to $6, and this was $4 to $6. Yeah, sorry, I can't speak straight. So then I ended up grabbing SPY calls again, the 44.40 calls at 249, which is right here for the break. It finally did break just a little bit, but a fake breakout is when they actually break it out, then they slam it down right away. So if you're gonna buy a breakout, especially in this market where it likes to fake out, that you need to be quick on getting in and out, or otherwise you're gonna take a loss. And this is exactly what happened. It popped back up, then it came back down. So I did grab the 44.40 calls at was it 249, which is right here. So so yeah, 249, which is right in here, and then went from 460 to 810, and that little pop right there. Now they moved more because they were closer to at the money. I think they were actually at the money. So when they were at the money at the end of the day, I mean, it doesn't take much. I mean, let's say price is about 442.10, and it only moved $1, and well, only, but the options moved 100%. On that, so almost 100%, so 460 to 810. So then the last play of the day, I took let's see, SPX 4425 puts at 325, which is right here. You see it pop back up, rejected VWAP, had a harsh reject, and right when it broke the low of the day, coming close to the low of the day, I like to buy right before the break, anticipation of the breakout or breakdown, because usually when you have those breakdowns or breakouts, they end up being pretty strong, and that's where you can make the option prices almost double, especially SPX. But yeah, I got the 4425 puts right here at 380, and they went from 380 to 1730 if you held all the way through. So that was a nice 300% play end of day on Monday. So that was a good play. Then I ended up playing on Tuesday. All SPY. I play a lot of SPY. Let's see. SPY was pretty good that day. Let's see. In the Trade Ideas room, it says SPY puts under 442.25, which is rate 422.25, which is rate. Not quite sure why I picked that number. Let me see what the previous day was. Not quite sure why I picked that number. I can see where the pivot is right here. As you can see, it resisted here. That's probably why I picked that number, was that right there. That's where it was getting rejected, and if it broke down through that pivot, that's where it was going to fall apart. So, okay, let me back this up just a little bit. So I grabbed SPY puts at 1001, which is right here. Now, let's see what I grab it there besides it rejecting the higher day. Oh yeah, I see it over here. It's rejecting this area right in here, the 445 area. Okay, so more than likely what I did was the 445 was resistance, but because it rejected the pre-market high day and it came back down, I grabbed it at 1001, which is right here, right underneath this green candle. I grabbed the SPY 444 puts at 204, and then went from 204 to 330 in that little drop right there. So then I ended up grabbing the 440 puts again at 1131, where it popped back up. Yeah, I grabbed it right here in on this red candle. As you can see right here, the reason why I grabbed it here, this is the area where it broke down right here, the 4440. And this is where I grabbed it, because it likes to come back and retest the area it broke down, and that's exactly what it did. So I grabbed the 444 puts again at 205, and then went from 205 to 290 in that drop, and then I grabbed the 443 puts at 1224, which is right 1224. Right here. Yeah, 1224. I grabbed them in this candle. I grabbed it right in here for some reason. I don't know. There might have been news or something. I don't remember. But this red candle is pretty nasty, and then it consolidated, and it ended up dumping. So yeah, the 443 puts, somehow I probably got it right down in here somewhere. and they went from 230 to 614, so they went over 100%, almost 200% on that play right there, 150% if he held all the way through. Then I ended up grabbing calls, 438 calls at 234, which is right here. Now, why did I grab it down here at pre-market? Let's see. Oh yeah, I grabbed it down here because of the pre-market lows. That's why I grabbed it right in here. Yeah, I grabbed it right here, pre-market lows. So I grabbed the 438 calls at 218, and they went from 218 to 274, and that little bounce right there. So 4 wins. Not gonna complain. Then I took Tesla on Wednesday. Oops. I always type in that ticker by accident. I said, let's see in the trade ideas room. Microsoft calls over 285. SPY puts under 437. Then I said Tesla puts under 975. What was that? 928 right before the bell. Okay. Which is right here. Now, Tesla's one of the few stocks that I do not wait out the 10 minutes, because when it starts to go, it just goes. So I've been grabbing those right at open if it breaks the level. But usually I like to wait out the first 10 minutes or so because of the fake out, especially with like certain tickers like Microsoft and SPY and but other tickers that I'm very familiar with that doesn't usually fake out, like BABA and Tesla, I'll grab those right at open. So yeah, I grabbed the Tesla 950 puts at 590 right when it broke below the 9. Well, I said 975, but because it popped up, I readjusted it right here at the 980 level. That's where I ended up grabbing it. So they went from 590 to 725 right there. So just like I said, I'm using this level down here from the previous day, but because it popped up, did it pop up? I don't really remember, but it started. I think it started to pop up, then it came back down. This is where I ended up grabbing it, then it ended up ripping again. So yeah, this was a fake out, but if you were fast, you did pretty good on it. So 590 to 725. I mean, that's $1.35 right there. That's pretty good. So can't complain about that, because if you play stocks like Apple, it's gonna take a pretty big move to get $1.35 move out of Apple on options. So then I ended up taking SPX the whole day. So SPY. No, I never chart SPX if you don't, and the reason is you don't see VWAP. So there's no point looking at SPX's chart. So then I ended up grabbing, let's see, SPX puts at 1123, which is right here. Now I grabbed it here pre-market. You can see right here it's rejecting this area right here, and you can see here, this is a pivot right here. You can see it's support right here, the 441.50. Then it's rejecting it right here. So as soon as I get up here, I grabbed it. I grabbed the 444 puts at 330, and they went from 330 to 370. Not much of a move. They're probably pretty far out of the money. Then I end up taking 445 calls at 1219, which is probably this breakout right here. 1219, this one right here. Yep. That's right, I grabbed it. The 445 calls at 360, and it went from 360 to 580. And that little push of the breakout right there, because it rejected and came back really quick, it usually ends up a sign that it's going to break out, because they don't usually come back and revisit higher day that quickly like that. So it's a higher probability it's going to break out. Then I ended up grabbing 44.25 puts at 119, which is right here. Now, because it went over the RSCT trend line, which is this orange line, started to come back down. This is where I ended up grabbing it. I grabbed the 44.25 puts at 310, and they went from 310 to 550 in that drop right there. Then I ended up grabbing 445 puts. Oh, I had the 44.25 right here, but I did grab 44.45 end of day at 319, which is right 319. And it's this candle right here. I think this is where it started to come back down. Yeah, I think it came back up to higher day and it started to come back down. This is where I ended up grabbing it because if you look at a smaller time frame, you can see that I actually pull back. At 319 right here. Where's the 319? Get that right, 319. Where is the 319? So I got the right day here. The 13th, yeah. 319. Yeah, this would have been the area where I got it right. I don't know why I got it up there. It doesn't look right. 319. Let me bring it back to the 10-minute. Yeah, this is it. 319. So it didn't really move that much. It must have been the fluctuation right in here or something. It's not that candle. I thought it was that candle right there, though. This is 15, 319. It's probably this little candle right there. This is probably what I got right in here. I'm not quite sure why I grabbed it there. I mean, I can see why from previous day right here, but it probably, I don't know. I can't really remember. But for some reason, I got it right here. And they went from 340 to 410. Didn't move hardly at all. So it seems like that was just more of a wiggle drop that I was able to get out of. But yeah, I should have just waited a few more minutes. I would have got a good play. The last 10 minutes, I always seem to pull in before the last 10 minutes. You know, it starts to look like it's going to do something, then it doesn't, then it does it the last 10 minutes. I always get pulled in the last 10 minutes of the day. So then on Thursday, at Tesla at open, let's see, what I say in the trade ideas room, Microsoft calls over 289, Facebook calls over 216.50, and SPY puts under 442. Then I did say Tesla puts lower day at 936, so Tesla puts at 936. So this was the candle right here, and when I was looking at this area right here, it pulled up and it came back down. This was the area I was looking at, the 997 area. So when it got down here, what was the timestamp I took it at? 939. As soon as this candle right here, the next candle went and took lower day, I grabbed the 985 puts at $4, and went from $4 to $6.70 on that drop right there. So then I ended up taking SPY, SPX actually at, let's see. Let's see, I took SPX puts, 4,400 puts at 350 at 1006, which is right here, right, 1006. 1006. I grabbed it right here. I mean, why did I grab it way down there? Let me bring it down to this lower time frame. 1009 right there. Oh, okay, I see. It pulled back up. I grabbed the retracement, and then it ended up dumping. Yeah. So I had the 4,400 puts at 350, and they went from 350 to 740 right here on that little dump. So I'm not quite sure why it dumped right there. It could have been news, but yeah, this is bringing it down to a smaller time frame. You can see it better than you can on the 10-minute. But yeah, I got it right there in this candle. Blow it up just a little more. As you can see, oh yeah, you can see it retrace back up. And this is when I re-grabbed it in this candle and got that nice move. Then I ended up grabbing 4450 calls at 1026, which is right here. I get this massive red candle and this green candle, and then I grabbed the right over the RCT trend line right here is where I grabbed the calls, the 4450 calls at 420. And they went from 420 to 570 in that little pop. So it's just been bouncing and had a nice bear flag right here. But I wasn't looking at that all day long. All day long, I was thinking that there's massive, because it's monthly expiration day, There's massive open interest on the 440 puts and the 450 puts. I kind of realized this. I highly doubt that 450 it's going to close over 450 at this point in time, but you can never count SPY out because sometimes they just have really ridiculous moves end of day or in the afternoon. But I was more confident that we were going to stay above 440. So anytime I got under or near 440, I had no problem buying calls because I was almost certain that they were going to make, if I remember correctly, with the like 75,000 440 puts open interest, and they were going to make them worthless. So anytime I got near 440 or under 440, I had no problems buying calls because of that. And I stuck with that thesis all afternoon. So at 10:26 right here, I grabbed the calls, the 430, 4450 calls at 420, and they went from 420 to 570. Oh, no, see, yeah. This went from 350 to 740, and these went from 420 to 570. I'm getting confused here. So yeah, the puts right here that I had for 4,400 puts, it went from 350 to 740 right there. That was a 100% move. Then this one, the calls I had went from 420 to 570 right in here. Then I ended up buying the 4390 puts at 1041, which is right here. I grabbed them in this candle and in this drop right here. They went from 310 to 360. Not much of a play now. I was thinking, okay, because it got far away from the 200 EMA, the 20 EMA, that we could get a bounce to it. Then when it started to reject right here, this is where I ended up getting it, because they always like to retest the 20 EMA at least once, and when they do, it will possibly reject, most likely reject, I should say, and that's what I was playing. So I got the little rejection right there. Not much of a play. Then I switched to calls at 11:30, which is right here. Right here. Yeah, I remember this because it bounced up to the VWAP. Then right here is where I ended up grabbing it, thinking that we were going to actually push green, and it didn't. So I grabbed calls right there, the 4455 calls at 360, and it went against me immediately, and they ended up being a total loss. I was really thinking it was going to bounce and break out. And I thought, okay, this is just a fake out right here. The flushing out stops and it's going to bounce, and then it just dumped more. So then I ended up grabbing calls at, I grabbed calls again at 12:30, which is right 12:30. Right here for some reason. Yeah, I grabbed them right here at 12:30. Why did I grab them right there? Oh, because it went underneath 440. That's why I grabbed them right here. With that thesis, anything under 440, they got to push it over 440 to make it the puts worthless. So that's why I grabbed them right here. The 4430 calls at $4. And they went from $4 to $9.50 in that push up. So that was a nice big move right there. Then at 325. I grabbed at the money puts, or actually, I think they might have been in the money. So I grabbed the 4410 calls at 325, which is right 325. I kind of waited the last half an hour. Right here, I grabbed them. We had that big push up. Oh yeah, I remember this. I watched this candle, and then when it retraced back down, I ended up grabbing calls right here. The 4410 calls at 540. I think I only had like 5 cons or something like that. Then I ended up buying more, averaging down because of the close of a 440. Now the close of a 440 would have pushed the 4410 calls into the money. I think a strike or two, so they would have probably possibly doubled if it did close over 440, but that's why I averaged down right there. I wasn't risking that much. So I did average down, which I never ever do, but I had a reason for what I was doing. I had the right, I had a thesis in mind. I was just wrong about it. I really thought they were going to push it over 440. I was so certain they were going to push it 440 plus end of day, and they just didn't. It dumped. So Friday, not that great. You know, just had I had a plan in play, but it just didn't work out. So that's it is what it is, and trading is all about that. You know, sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong, and you just need to adjust accordingly. So manage your own risk and. Remember, this is not financial advice whatsoever. It never is, never will be, and it's just my plays, my thoughts, and what I'm doing. So, and hopefully, this video has helped you understand what I'm doing and why I chose what I did and played the way I did. Sometimes I just get it wrong, and this one on the end of the day, Friday, I just got it wrong. So that's it. So hopefully, this has helped you, and hope to see you in the room. And thanks for watching.